Nadia,
Mm-hmm.
we're in a second, we'll be live.
Okay, sounds fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then do you want me to start immediately or no? You're gonna be starting.
Yeah,
so that's...
I'm gonna agree.
Okay,
All
sounds
right.
good.
All right. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Today we have a special guest, Nadia Tomalia. How are you, Nadia?
I'm good. Thank you, Amani, for having me.
No,
excited to be with everybody. Thanks to everyone for joining us today too.
Thank you so much. Today you're going to prepare for us qatayif, and you are, let me read this. So you're a blogger. You're enthusiastic in making food. You're a cooking instructor. And can you tell us about yourself? One sentence briefly. What inspired you to begin as a cooking instructor?
So I tell people I've been cooking since I was very, very young. I remember the first meal I made, I was 12 years old and it was a makluba. So, and I tell them, the rest is history. So I focus on the Arabic food, the flavors, usually things that you don't really find in restaurants, mainly home-cooked meals. And, I teach, I try to teach this with the community around me, I think it's nice to spread as much as possible, the wonderful food that we have, so.
Thank you so much. And especially, showing the different aspects of cultures and arts and cuisines. It's amazing. So are you going to show us how you're going to do the qatayif now? Can you give us?
Absolutely. So, again, thank you, Amani, for having me. Thanks for hosting me. I just wanted to mention that I have a wonderful helper to my side here. Her name is Noor Khalidi. She is actually taking the view, the close-up view, later on when we start cooking. So thanks, Noor, for being here also with us. I always say, the Ramadan table is never complete without a taif. And a taif is a very simple recipe that you can make. Usually, we don't make it actually at home. If you're living back home, you go and you pick it and you just stuff it and then bake it or fry it. It comes in different varieties for stuffing. You can make it with nuts. You can make it with cheese, with some ishta, the thick cream that we have. Basically, it's up to your preference. My recipe is very simple recipe. I've been making it for, I think since I moved here to Seattle over 25 years ago. It's just 4 ingredients plus water, I tell people. So the trick of making the qatayif, I always say, practice makes it perfect. So you want to practice how to, pour it, how to, the heat, sometimes, the surface that you're using makes a huge difference. So we'll talk about all of this when we start making the recipe. Before we start, I just want to, of course, qatayif needs atar, which is, the simple syrup that we have in our cuisine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start this because by the time we finish everything else, it will be ready for us to dip our qatayif in it. So I'm going to start with my water here, just 1 cup of water with 1.5 cups sugar. And I'm just going to whisk them together. And this will add, I'm gonna time it for about 8 minutes, 10 minutes. And after that, I'm just gonna add a little bit of lemon juice, like really half a teaspoon of lemon juice. And I'm gonna finish it with orange blossom water. And I will come to it and show you at the end how we're doing it. I'm just making sure that everything is dissolved in the water here. And I'm just gonna keep it alone on the side while we're making our qatayif recipe. Here we go. I'm just gonna send it and I'm gonna actually turn it to medium heat and just move my little portable stove to the side. While this is cooking, we can start with our qatayif. For the recipe today, we will be making, I have tahine and I have smeed, and you need to use the fine semolina for this recipe. And then I have some baking powder and sugar. And of course, water. And for water, you need your water to be warm, lukewarm water. So I actually mix some hot water with cold water just to make, the balance. You don't want it to be really cold because you want the baking powder to activate when we mix it. And of course, we're going to be using a blender, but please feel free to use a whisk. You can use that. You don't need a blender for it if you don't have it. But it's much easier now for me, to use it. So thanks to technology for having this. So I'm going to start with actually my water here. I'm just going to bring the water I have. You want to start with the liquid first. Okay, and all the ingredients and the quantities, Amani, after we finish, with the recipes, we'll be sharing, with the people that attended actually a small short videos actually how to make them that has all the quantities.
Definitely. So I'm gonna mute you, Nadia, when you start the blender, okay? And remember to unmute me.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. Sorry. So for now, I have my water, and I'm gonna add my all-purpose flour to it. And to that, I'm gonna add also the semolina, the تسميد الناعم, and the baking powder, and the sugar. And this is all we need for our mix today. So I'm gonna turn it on for about a minute. I'm gonna go and mix actually my syrup after that for about a minute, and then we will. I have a spatula ready, so you're gonna see me, because I'm gonna be muted a little bit. You're gonna see me that I'm just gonna open my blender and kind of clean the sides. And you wanna do this so to make sure that everything is blended together, nothing is sticking to the side. And it takes usually, a couple of minutes, for it to be ready. So here we go. I'm gonna start, and then you can mute me.
Okay, sounds good. We have muted Nadia all because of the blender.
Yes, Amani. So I'm unmuted now, correct?
Yes, you are.
So here we are just, I did blended basically the water with flour, the fine semolina, and baking powder and sugar. And I'm just gonna show you the consistency of my, I'm gonna show you the consistency here. I'm gonna go to the other side. Here we go. And this is what you need. And this is it. This is all you need for your batter, actually. So these ingredients just mixed well. I'm just making sure that there is nothing on the sides here and there. I think I have a little bit stuck still in this side. So I'm gonna turn it maybe for another 10 seconds in a little bit. And then we need to send this to rest for about at least 15 minutes, I say. So I'm gonna turn it on, and you don't need to meet me for this one, just a 10 seconds, Amani. And here we go.
Nadia, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So the semolina, we have a question. Where can you purchase that? One of our viewers are asking.
So semolina, you can find it in any of the Arabic store around the area. You have There is Osco in Bellevue, it's actually a Persian store. There is Goodies, a Lebanese store in Seattle. There is Shalimar, I think it's an Indian store. Most of these places, they carry them. And even I see them, I saw this in bulks actually in Whole Foods and some of Fred Meyer's as well. And of course, for those that don't want to leave their homes around this time, Amazon always is a great option. There is brands that I would use. There is Ziad brand. There is Crescent. Crescent actually is local in Everett. You have lots of options.
Okay.
You just need to make sure that you need to have that fine one. So I'm going to send this to the side. I'm just going to set it aside. Okay. Just keep it covered and let it rest because we need it to rest for about at least 15 minutes. Set it here. Let this one on. Just to show everybody, here we are. Everything is dissolved and our syrup is boiling. So I'm turning it a little bit down. We need it for maybe another 6-7 minutes. I'm gonna put the timer for that. So with the atayef, I wanted to show you two things. First one is, people ask me a lot when I make my atayef and they see my stories, on Instagram. I'm using here a crepe machine to make the atayef. Now you can make it in a me'la, which is a skillet. You can make it basically whatever you have in the house. I always, as I said in the beginning, practice makes it perfect. But this is, the surface the heat is even here. And always when you make your atayef, I always tell people, always the first batch, sometimes even the second batch, you will not really get that good of a color. You need to kind of mark the places where you make them. So it's here, your surface. And then slowly, you will start getting that color. And that's why, you would know that, it's too high. We're gonna lower it down. It's too, low. I just need to up the temperature a little bit. I need it a little bit darker, or I need it a little bit lighter. So, these things that you will work with it when you, when you make the batter and you practice it. So we're gonna, do a few practices here. We're not gonna wait 15 minutes, of course, for our, we're not gonna wait 15 minutes for our batter that we just made. So I made something earlier here. And I just filled it in this, it's a pancake container. And I have my machine is on. And for those who is gonna ask, I'm not doing an advertisement here for anything, so I'm not gonna mention the name. This is something I got online maybe 7 or 8 years ago. It was, I think, from Amazon. So I have it on. Just making sure it's on.
I usually use my pancake, the pancake one, Nadia.
So, and how does that work for you?
It works great because it's fast. And
okay.
When I make sweets, I'm very slow. So it's easier for people to manage, because of the qatayef pace.
Okay, so and this is a good, I'm glad that you mentioned this because, like the pancake one did not work for me. And I have like a built-in pancake one for even my stove, and it didn't work. And it was, I think, lower. The temperature was lower. So this is a kind of a more heat. So it gave it like really that nice color. So I'm going to start here by just pouring slowly. And the sizes we're talking about is basically really up to you, up to your preference. So I'm thinking maybe the first batch might not work, or the color would not be exact color that we were looking for. So we'll try second one. And this is why I'm saying, we'll practice makes it perfect.
Awesome.
People usually, they make the atayef and it's like, oh my God, the color didn't work. And I keep telling them, just keep at it, you know, the third or fourth, you know, it will work out. So we'll look at this one. And this is, maybe we can just, so what you're seeing here, you want to see all these openings, all these bubbles, you know, you want to see these bubbles. This is when you know that your dough is actually working. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's see if the color of this one is working. I'm going to just wait for this. And here we go. I'm going to try to pull the first one and look at that. Oh, it's hot. So this is what we're looking for. And it is so important that you keep them also covered after you take them out. So when you bake them like this, you're going to notice that they're a little bit stiff. Okay, here we go. Another one with the color. Oops. But as soon as you keep them covered and let them rest for a little bit, they will look fantastic. You will become very soft and you will be able to move them. So I'm just going to cover this one and go ahead and do another batch. So when I make atayef, I try actually to make a big batch, and I make them, I stuff them, and I freeze them. And then when I need, you know, Ramadan is almost around the corner. So when I need, I just open my freezer. All I need to do is just deep fry them, or, you know, bake them, or, you know, and enjoy them. So usually this is what, this is the best way for me, you know, to do it and keep it ready ahead of time. So we can point in any of these, yeah. Again, you know, you want to see that all the bubbles are popping here and it's dry. And you, as you see, I don't know if you can see, Amani, there is a rim, you know, around, yeah. And this is.
I'm happy that I'm watching you live, because now I see exactly how you do it.
How did it? Okay. It's a simple recipe, you know. I see lots of recipes out there with, you know, you add so many ingredients, and I keep telling them, just keep it simple. Like we used to eat it back home, you know, we don't need to, oops, I'm just gonna show you the color here. Here we go.
Okay.
It's much easier to use the, you can pull this one as well.
They look amazing.
Oh, thank you. There we go. I feel like, you know, see, they're a little bit darker than the first batch. So I feel like maybe I should lower my heat a little bit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lower the heat here. Okay. I think we have good 8 atayef. I was hoping the first one will not work out, Amani, like the color will not be perfect. So no. I can show you, but I apologize for making it. No, it worked, you know. So I'm just gonna move that machine actually from this side to here. It's perfect timing because it's showing me here that it's my alarm is beeping, which means I need to add a little bit of lemon juice to my atar. And I'm just gonna let it boil.
So you add the lemon after it boils?
I add the lemon after it boils, actually. And I'm gonna let it boil now for about another 3 minutes. And then at the end, I'm gonna add the orange blossom water. So you wanna add your orange blossom water at the end and turn it off, because if it keeps boiling, actually, you lose the flavor, and you want the flavor in that. So I'm just gonna send this to the side again with the orange blossom next to it. And I'm gonna go ahead, just keep my atayef covered and show you how we're gonna be making the 2 stuffings. So today we're gonna be making 2 stuffings. The first one is gonna be the walnut, the jaws. And in my walnuts, stuffing here, walnut, the jaws, we need to just going ahead and grinding them or pounding them. And as I said, Amani will be sharing a short video both in Arabic language and in English for everybody that attended after our demo.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just add the jaws, and this is what we're looking for. Okay, now you can use really any kind of nuts that you like. If you love, let's say cashews, if you like, a little bit of pistachios, it's really up to you. This is like a traditional that my family used to make. I'm even using my mom's mortar and pestle here. And then to that, I'm just gonna add, I have a little bit of sugar. And I don't add too much sugar to it because I will be using some raisins. I like to use raisins, or sometimes you can add dates if you want, or you can add, dried figs if you want. You can chop them and add them to it, or just you keep it simple without any dried fruit. Usually dried fruits is very common during Ramadan, so that's why I like to add some. And then I have some coconut flakes as well. Coconut and walnuts go really, really well together. And then I have here some cloves, ground cloves. And for the spices, Amani, you can use really anything that you like. This is cinnamon. And yeah, cinnamon. And I have a little bit of orange blossom water. So I'm just gonna use it to mix everything together. And that's my alarm, or my timer for the utter. So our utter, and I'm gonna show you the consistency of this as well. And it's gonna get thicker when you, when it gets cool, it gets to room temperature basically. So I'm just gonna add now the orange blossom water, just give it a stir like that, and turn off my butter and just keep it on the side. It will be ready, when we start frying. Going back here just to mix. And this is when we get to try a little bit. Yum. Manny, are you close by to come and get delivery or not?
I wish.
So this is down. Thank you. So as I said, you can really add, it's up to you. You can add a little bit of cardamom. You can add, you can go a little bit more with, let's say, the cloves or nutmeg if you want. So the spice is really up to you and your what you prefer. This is, the mixture that we have, and I can see, like, I can taste the orange blossom water in it. So I'm going to keep it on the side and show you my next mixture. Oops. I have here cheese. I'm using mozzarella cheese. You can use mozzarella or Akawi cheese. Just make sure if you use the Akawi, taste it. If it has a little bit of saltiness, you can just soak it a little bit in water and then dry it. I have like a kitchen paper towel, underneath it. I just want to make sure that my cheese is not totally soaked in water. And this is fresh mozzarella, so I'm going to go ahead here.
I have a question, Nadia. So
please,
we can, there's also the sweet cheese. Are we
there
able
is
to use that?
Yes. Actually, you are able to use that if you find a good sweet cheese. So they have the blocks, Akawi sweet cheese blocks, and this is works the best. And this is actually what we will use back home. You know, unfortunately, I don't have that right now. But sometimes even I use the Akawi with the salt in it. I just soak it a little bit in water, just get the salt out and use it. But for now, mozzarella cheese will do. Will just
awesome.
do fine. Yeah, and I'm just gonna cut them into. I try to get a small cutting board here for my cheese to give everything fitting in our session.
Nadia, as you make this, I you know, a lot of our viewers are non-Arabs. Can you explain to us a bit about qataif?
Ataif. So ataif is basically a traditional dessert that is served specifically during Ramadan, the holy month of Ramadan, which is going to be coming up soon. I think, Amani, I think we will be starting observing the Ramadan here in Seattle. Is it April 12th or 13th? 12th?
I think it's April 12th.
April 12th. Okay.
Yeah.
And it will last for 1 month. Basically, ataif is the most common dessert served during this month. It's a pancake like that we make. As I said, stuffed with different, a variety of assortment of, either cheese or nuts or, cream. And usually, we eat this because this is giving you a little bit of energy. Like imagine like not fasting all day long, and then at the end of the day after you break your fast, you want something sweet to eat, and it also gives you that the taste and the energy. So almost every single home, I should say, they will always either buy or make ataif, at least few times during Ramadan.
Yeah. It's a must.
It's a must. I always say, Ramadan is never complete without it. And also, Amani, it's it's just delicious. It's simple. People say, oh my God, maybe it has lots of calories or something like that. And I say, no, just when you eat it, I make mine, as you said, very small. Just practice to be aware of what you're eating. But this is something that you cannot skip, and some people, they ask why you're not making it, during other times other than Ramadan. It's just really a special time, and it's a special month, so we eat it really during this month. So just go for it and enjoy it, as they say. Also, ataif, we make it like this, the sizes that I showed you, and also we can make it a small, tiny size that we call it ataif asafiri, and little birds, which is translated to little birds. And this is these asafiri, actually they don't get cooked, so you stuff them with fresh cream that you make, or ishta at home. You can even do it with Nutella, and sprinkle them with pistachio, and of course always the orange blossom syrup, on the side, where you can just drizzle on it and eat it. So with the cheese, I just chopped all my cheese here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of sugar. And I'm going to be using also cinnamon with my mozzarella. I love cinnamon in this recipe. And you have the option of using either orange blossom water, just a little tiny bit. You don't want it to be soaking wet in orange blossom water. Or here I'm using actually some mastic with a little bit of sugar, and I'm just gonna go ahead and grind them. Mastic is another flavoring that we add, known as Arabic gum. I'm going to go ahead and add it, mix it with the rest of the cheese. I'm going to go ahead and just mix them well together. You can add a little bit of pistachios if you want into your cheese as well. They taste delicious inside it. as we said from the beginning, it's up to your preference. I'm gonna go back to my attire here and show you how they're just soft now. You can, you know, form them any way you want.
That's
okay.
awesome to know.
Yeah.
Because some people usually stuff it automatically, but the softer it is, I feel it's better. Correct?
Yeah, so that's why it's important to keep it covered after you take it out from your, you know, and it will be stiff. Like when you take it out, you can feel like it's a little bit stiff. As soon as it rests a little bit, Amani, look, you know, it's just, you know, you can form it any way you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and stuff a few of them with cheese. And you wanna make sure also not to stuff it too much, where you want to close. When you're closing, you don't want any liquid to come on the rim that we saw. So I'm going to go ahead here and just show you. I just push the stuffing with my finger here, and with the other hand, I just close it to shape it into a moon like this.
Awesome.
Isn't this cute?
Yes, it matches the Ramadan theme.
It matches the Ramadan theme, absolutely. So I like actually to go double at least, you know, and my atayef, and I'm just gonna keep it here on the side, and I'm gonna go and fill a few more with cheese. This is, I think, too much. And for the size, you can make them any size you wish. You know, you can go with bigger. I've been seeing actually people making them almost into a cake, you know, size. And serve it as a one piece with layers, which is very creative. You know, just, you know, anything you. I think these are the perfect. You won't feel guilty even when you eat them. When you make them and you eat them. So here we go. The cheese. I'm gonna move my butter to the side and bring my oil here, frying oil, and start, you know, heating it until I stuff the rest of the atayef. So Amani, you can fry them, and you can also bake them if you want. If you ask me, I always fry them. I would say, you know, my family used to bake some of them. I always will ask, you know, no, I want some to be fried.
Right.
I just feel like, you know, so the trick is basically people think that it's going to have too much, you know, oil in it. Yes, but if your oil is really hot and you know, and you fry them, you basically drop them in your fryer. It's not gonna take, you know, soak, you know, that oil. If your oil is not to the temperature, it actually will be soggy with oil and something like that. So you want to make sure that your oil is really, really hot. And when we fry them, we don't fry them for that long. If they're fresh, you're talking about like 40 to 50 seconds only. And I will show you in a little bit. And if they're frozen, you go a little bit more than that. And also you try to control the temperature of your your frying, you know, your fryer and your heat. If you see them like they took color immediately, like just quickly they change color, you want to actually lower it a little bit because you want the cheese to melt inside and you want, you know, everything to soak together. I think I need 5 cheeses. Do you like cheese more than? So I'm gonna go ahead and actually get to my.
I have one question, Nadia.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
So I have some of when I make qatayef, sometimes it opens when I fry it.
Oh,
so
okay.
What's the problem? Why it's opening, you know?
So it means that, you know, it's drying out quickly, Amani. You are not covering it. I can tell actually a little bit from these because I didn't cover that much, but it's very important to go back and just press on them like that, you know? And if you feel like you're not going to be using them, or if you want to make them early in the morning and you know that you're going to be serving them at night, make them, put them in the Ziploc bag and into your freezer. Okay. When you drop them into your fryer, it's just they're gonna taste exactly the exact same thing. You know, this is the best way. Like when I know that I have people coming over, you know, you're not gonna be making atayef when people are with you. And hopefully we get to see people soon with the vaccine out, you know, that,
Yes.
you know, in Ramadan, we get to see some of our loved ones and friends around our Ramadan table. So just that's the best way, you know, always cover them. And then before you drop them again into your, if you're making them fresh, before you drop them again, just make sure to press on them. And I will show you when we get to that as well. And here we go, my last.
We have one question, Nadia.
Yes, absolutely.
You're welcome to answer it if you like. Marwa is asking, what type of cheese? I know you answered it earlier, but okay. Are you able to tell her?
So I used, today I use mozzarella cheese. You can choose definitely Akawi cheese. You can mix Akawi and mozzarella. I use actually fresh mozzarella, you know. You can find it Trader Joe's, Costco, you know, they come in the log. So here we go. So I mixed them up. I made five of the cheese and 3 of the Joe's. So you can use, yes, you can use any of these cheese, a combination of them, mozzarella Akawi, or just Akawi, or just mozzarella. Just make sure if you're using the Akawi that is salty, not the sweet one, that one comes, because sometimes you don't find that. Make sure that you soak it in water and change the water so you get rid of the salt. And also you can mix a little bit of ishta if you want with them. With the cheese, you can make another variety of cheese and ishta together. I'm gonna go ahead here. I think my oil here is almost ready. I'm just gonna get ready, get my stuff and get ready for frying, Amani.
Okay.
So I have here just an empty plate with kitchen paper towel, you know, on it. I'm gonna pour some of my syrup. Just gonna keep my syrup here on the side. I'm just testing them. So Amani, see, I'm gonna go ahead and just press on it again.
Okay.
And Noor, you're doing an amazing job. Noor is my helper here with her camera. So
thank you, Noor.
So I'm just gonna, you know, drop here.
Oh.
And I can tell that my stove is actually hot. So I'm gonna go and drop the second one.
So Nadia, so once again, how long do you leave it usually until it turns thick?
If you're doing it in fresh, you know, they're not frozen, I would just do like, see, Amani, I'm just gonna show you, like already it's taking a color.
Yes.
You see that? It's already, you know, so I would say like 50 seconds, you know, 40 to 50 seconds when you see, unless you want it really to be a golden, dark golden color, you know, you can go for more. But I just feel like this one is perfect. It's getting almost perfect. And also my oil was really hot.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and take the first one that I am just gonna shake the extra oil out and just keep it here. And I'm gonna go ahead and
beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And I'm gonna take the second one, take it out, and let's try to do 2 cheese ones. So I'm gonna again go and press on my cheese here. We go 1, and I'm gonna go ahead and do with the second one.
As you're frying this, Nadia, so you're a cooking instructor also. So where do you give classes at?
So I teach in different places. Mainly these days I do online. Usually, of course, we do it in person. But now I am a guest instructor at a place called The Pantry in Seattle. And we do everything through Zoom. So usually I post on my Instagram page the classes that I teach, like when it's coming, what's the class, and people can register there.
Awesome.
Yeah,
We'll definitely post your Instagram
absolutely.
on this. There, I've seen you. You have several different recipes,
Yes.
especially in Ramadan.
Yes, I share lots of recipes there, and usually people send me questions. I answer the questions as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and see, Amani, this is the cheese. This is the cheese. I'm gonna actually cover the ones I have here. I'm gonna show you something. I prepped some earlier on, just to show people what I mean by you can make them and freeze them. So this is the Joe's one. I made them like maybe 2 or 3 hours ago. And I'm just gonna go ahead and also fry maybe a couple of them, one of each. And I have, this is the cheese. And this is such an easy way, to make them, just not to worry about it. When it's when you're done with eating, you're breaking your fast, basically, or if you have guests that shows up, just pull them out from the freezer, fry them, and serve them a fire.
It saves you a lot of time.
It saves you a lot of time, and this is actually what I do most of the time, because it takes time, and sometimes you're tired by the end of the day, so you don't wanna spend your time just making everything right there, and they will taste, and you will not even recognize which one we made now, which one we pulled from the freezer. And it allows you also to make bigger amounts if you have more people showing up. So, if you notice, I'm just going to keep this one a little bit extra time because it was in the freezer. So it will go for maybe another 10, 15 more seconds.
So you're showing us the frying way. So if they decide to bake it, what steps would they have to do when they bake it?
So I would suggest to use parchment paper in your baking sheet, and then you still need to brush it, with basically either oil. And when I recommend, when I say oil, I recommend, this is Amani, I'm sorry, I will go back to that. This is the one that was in the freezer. And as I said, you will not even notice the difference between, there is no difference between the one from the freezer and the one that we just made. So going back to baking them, baking sheet with parchment paper, and then you lay them, on your sheet, and you have to sprinkle them with a generous amount of either butter or frying oil, not olive oil. I don't use olive oil, that will be like really heavy. So butter will be the best. I tell people that, the amount that you put in that, I don't know if you noticed, I should have mentioned this earlier. If you look at the amount of, would you show them? If you look at the amount of oil that we have, it almost didn't change because, it was hot, we drop them, we take them out. So almost the same amount of butter or oil that you're going to be using when you bake them, it's going to be the same as frying. But with frying, you do this and you send it to the oven, 375, and usually it takes about 15 minutes. If it's in the freezer, you just need to watch on that. If they were in the freezer, you need to put them in and you want to bake them. You want to make sure you bake them frozen. You don't want to wait for them to defrost. Other than that, they will fall apart. And I'm just going to go ahead, and this is a cheese one that is also, I'm going to send this one to the freezer, and I will be back.
That's great to know that it's preferably better to bake it when it's frozen. That explains why mine's opens.
Yeah, because you know what, as soon as, when we, if you notice that when we even form them, Amani, I made sure that nothing touches the rim. As soon as you get that water, in it, and it always immediately will open. So you want to make sure that it's always dry when you close them, that they're dry. That's why we don't want to overstuff our atayef. And then at the same time, if they melt a little bit, you know, you will actually have water on them, and that will open them. They will end up opening up. And this is our cheese one here. I'm gonna keep it just maybe another 10 more seconds. And then I'm gonna take it out and to the side here. I'm just gonna move my own. My little stove. And this is the butter that we used, that we made. I'm sorry, that we made. I'm gonna go ahead and get, this is the Joe's one. Just gonna dip it in my butter like that. And if you don't want to dip it and you just want to sprinkle it also, that's totally up to you. Looking nice here. I'm gonna go with the second one.
Some of our viewers joined late, Nadia. So I know, you know, they want to know, what is the atar? Like the...
Oh, what is the atar? So the atar is basically a simple syrup that we make. It's something that if you are from an Arab heritage, you know that this is always in your fridge, I say, because we use it with most of our desserts. And it's basically water, sugar, a little bit of lemon juice, and we infuse it. You can infuse it with orange blossom water, usually orange blossom water. In my case, I use sometimes orange blossom water, sometimes you can use rose water. And in the summer, when my rose geranium is growing and you know, looking good, I actually use that to infuse the water in them. So it's just a simple syrup. It keeps well, it stays for, you know, as soon as you make it, you can just keep it in the fridge and you put it into the over your baklawa, you put it over your, you know, atayef, knafe. Most of the desserts that we make actually require this simple syrup. What else? Yeah, and then you can use it, you know, for drinks as well. You know, like I make sometimes, you know, like lemonade or something. I just, you know, mix the simple syrup with that. What else? Yeah, and then you keep it in the fridge and it stays for, it stays actually well, you know, for at least a month in the fridge. So this is Amani, this is the one that we made with almond, sorry, the nuts, yeah. I'm just soaking my cheese, adding the simple syrup, and I'm shaking it.
For one joining us late, Nadia Tomalia is making us qatayef, atayef. There's several ways on how to pronounce it.
Pronounce it, yes.
It is the Arabic dessert that very popular in our homes, so it's a must. It's filled with cheese or nuts. It's my favorite.
So Amani, for this is for the cheese. I'm just gonna sprinkle some fresh pistachios on top. Okay, and for the walnut and the nut mix, you know, I'm gonna put some edible rose petals there. Just gonna take some like that and the color. What do you think, Noor? Should we try some?
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys are teasing us.
So this is, again, you know, this is the cheese one that we made, stuffed with mozzarella cheese, and this is our nuts. And let me, actually, I'm gonna take one of them like that and just try to show you how it looks. Maybe Noor can put a little bit close up maybe a little bit behind, no, just a little bit, so we can. And this is the cheese. There we go. I'm sorry, Amani, I'm gonna have a bite.
Dan, please do try it. It looks amazing.
So I'm just gonna, oops, and then I'm gonna hand the other half to Noor on the side here, and I'm gonna have a bite. So for those who are joining us also, today is Mother's Day in the Arab world. So if you're a mommy out there, I wanna wish you happy Mother's Day. I think our dessert for Mother's Day is perfect, yeah?
Yes, happy Mother's Day. It's celebrated in all of the Arab, all the Arab countries, the Middle Eastern. So this is a nice way of celebrating it.
Yes. I say we're spoiled here because we get both. We get the Arab world, Mother's Day, and also we get the May Mother's Day, May Mother's Day here in the United States. So Amani, I'm gonna open the second one, which is nuts, the walnuts and the raisins. Here we go. So can I just try the second one too?
Yes, try it.
Here we go. Did you try the cheese? It's good. It's good. Noor approves of the cheese, So would you try to try this one too? Okay, she's still finishing that one. So this is our simple recipe for the day, which is atayef. Again, if you have questions, please, I'm happy to answer. Just write them to Amani, and Amani can read the questions for me. Amani, any questions for me?
We do have one for the written recipe. We will post it on our Facebook page. Also, we will post Nadia's Instagram and social media pages where you can also get the recipe. I've asked the questions as we were talking, Nadia, and several of the comments were they could feel the Ramadan blessing with all this, with you making the katayef. So do you have any for our viewers for the katayef? So every country makes there's everybody has a recipe.
For it, yeah.
Recipe for it. So what is the one thing that combines all the recipes? I know it's. Go ahead.
You always need to dip it with something sweet. If it's syrup that we made or honey that we made, because we make it with honey. There is بغرير, I think it's called, in the Maghreb al-Arabi, in the Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, and they dip it with honey. Most of them, they make it, the main basic for it is all-purpose flour, because this is the main ingredient that you will find in every single Arab home, in the Arab world. And, they depend, as I said in the beginning, some of them, they have lots of nuts, some of them, they add mixed, you can stuff it with dates and other, maybe dates and coconuts and, or you can do with just ishta. Ishta is basically an Arabic cream that we make. It's like a thick cream that we stuff it inside as well, or you can make it with cheese like we made today, or walnuts. So, but they all are known that after they break their fast, there is something that's sweet that they need to eat. They need to get that energy up, and so for us in Bilad al-Sham, Levant area, usually you would see the atayef.
Okay, with a cup of tea also.
And a cup of tea, yeah.
Definitely.
Or you have one, I say you have one without the cup of tea, and then later on you have it with a cup of tea, because
it's thank you so much, Nadia. It was great having you, and thank you, Noor, for helping out Nadia with this entire process. We are so blessed to bring you in, and we hope to see you soon. And once again, to our viewers, Nadia does offer cooking classes. We will post all the information on our Facebook page. how to reach Nadia Tomalia.
Thank you so much, Amani, for having me. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. And hopefully, inshallah, Rabbi, Ramadan, Kareem. It's early, but, Ramadan Kareem to everybody. And hopefully we get to see each other. We'll all get out of this pandemic and just, have our loved one again, and share atayif with them. If you have any questions, you can reach out in my social media, I will be happy to answer it. And look for the little video of the recipe both in Arabic and English that Amani will be sharing as well.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nadia. And
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you.
See you guys next week.
Thank you. Thanks, Amani. Wa alaikum salam. No, do you want to eat more?